Yeah, for sure, it definitely is. If we're thinking of the speed that we need, the scale of hydrogen storage and distribution to increase in order to meet the net zero goals, it is quite a large challenge. So it's almost become a bit of a sort of cliche problem now in the hydrogen sector that people talk about the chicken and the egg problem, but it's so true. In order to get to the scale we need the costs to come down and the uncertainty to decrease, but in order to do that we need the scale to enable those things to happen. So it's kind of what I kind of call it the cycle of inaction. So you've got the scale that's needed, which powers lowering costs and bringing the uncertainty down, which encourages financing to finance these big projects, which would then go around to increase the scale, and so it goes round. And if none of those things are happening and we're waiting for at each part, waiting for the enabler that comes before it, then the sector kind of is on hold, and we need to break through that and push through that and get that circle and cycle moving, so it can kind of become the circle of action rather than inaction. And there's kind of two ways we can do that. The first one is continuing to develop and improve the technology through sort of innovation funding. There's many schemes and support out there to help build up the technologies that have a lot of potential. So, for example, pilot scale projects, demonstrators, things like that, and there is funding on offer for those, and those do help to bring the technology forward and increase the scale. But at some point you have to make the jump from a demonstrator and a pilot to utility scale, and at that point, you need financing. And so the way that that this needs to happen is we need to kind of de-risk the financing side of it and kind of remove some of those uncertainties, or at least try and mitigate them as much as possible. There's a number of ways that this can happen. The obvious one, the big one, is state support. So the famous IRA in America is quite an impactful policy. But if we look here in the UK, the hydrogen production business model is designed to take away a lot of the variation and price risk of hydrogen. But this isn't the only way. There are other ways we can do this with the actual business strategy of the project. So, for example, you can, if you have your revenue and sort of off-takers fixed into long-term contracts, that takes away a lot of the risk. Or something which I think, is a wider discussion point, I think was also mentioned previously by Vincent, is building your project around an ecosystem, a whole value chain of hydrogen, where you have, from the production through to the storage, through to the transmission, to the user, and actually developing that project together helps to take away some of that risk.